The sun rose over the serene landscape, casting golden light upon the Bodhi tree where Buddha sat in meditation. Disciples gathered quietly around him, sensing profound stillness that emanated from their revered teacher. They held questions deep within their hearts. "Master," one disciple began, "why do you renounce the world? And why does simplicity hold such truth?" His voice trembled. Buddha opened his eyes gently, radiating peace that touched every soul present. His gaze met the disciple's earnest expression. "I do not renounce the world out of disdain," Buddha said. "I renounce attachments that bind the human soul. The river flows freely because it is not weighed down," Buddha continued. "But attachments form a dam that stifles life. Attachment arises from desire," Buddha explained. "And desire blinds us, creating suffering that consumes our thoughts and leads us astray." A bird flew overhead, its flight graceful and unburdened. Buddha raised his hand toward the bird, drawing the disciples' attention. "This bird flies where it chooses," Buddha said softly. "But were it caged by desires, its wings would lose their purpose." The disciples nodded in understanding, though some wrestled with doubts. One young disciple spoke, eager for clarity from his master. "Master, is desire always harmful?" he asked, his voice tinged with curiosity. The Buddha's expression is serene, his eyes gleaming with understanding. "We too must learn from the leaves. A wise person may seek knowledge," Buddha said, "but wisdom lies in recognizing when the pursuit turns into obsession. Love may inspire virtue," Buddha added, "but love poisoned by possessiveness becomes chains that tether the heart to suffering." The wind rustled the leaves above them, carrying the faint scent of blooming flowers. Buddha seemed to listen, connected to nature. He touched the earth beneath him, a gesture that conveyed humility and groundedness. "The earth holds lessons for all of us. The earth does not seek recognition," Buddha said. "Its beauty and abundance flow naturally, unburdened by desires for acclaim." A disciple reflected on these words, contemplating the nature of simplicity that Buddha's life epitomized. He felt the weight of attachments. "Master," he asked hesitantly, "how can we begin this journey of renouncing desires and attachments? It feels like an overwhelming path." Buddha met his eyes with compassion. "Begin with mindfulness," he said. "Observe the roots of desire within your heart and mind. To understand desire is to take the first step toward liberation," Buddha explained. "Know what binds you before seeking freedom. Small acts of mindfulness lead to great transformation," Buddha assured. "Do not be discouraged by the enormity of the task." Another disciple spoke, his voice carrying wisdom. "Master, if one achieves liberation, what remains? Is there purpose beyond desires and attachments?" Buddha closed his eyes briefly, gathering his thoughts. When he opened them, his voice resonated with clarity and insight. "Beyond attachments lies peace," Buddha said. "Master," Ananda says, "if one lets go, does one not fear losing what one cherishes?" The Buddha closes his eyes briefly, meditating on Ananda's question before answering. "Fear arises from the belief that loss diminishes us. Its melody is one of unity, not division." The disciples listened, their hearts touched by Buddha's words. The image of unity inspired hope and curiosity about their own journeys. Buddha stood and walked a few steps, each movement deliberate, as if carrying meaning within its simplicity. His presence inspired reflection. "Consider this tree," Buddha said, gesturing to the Bodhi tree. "Its roots embrace the earth, yet it reaches for the sky. It does not struggle. It simply grows. Balanced in its being," Buddha added. "Balance lies in harmony, not in accumulation." Buddha paused, allowing his disciples time to process the wisdom he shared. He understood the depth of their yearning for truth. One disciple spoke cautiously, his voice revealing fear. "It is found within. In the clarity of release, the disciples sit in silence, the teachings resonating deeply within them. True growth comes not from perfection but from the courage to begin. Release the burden of expectations, Buddha advised. As the evening turns to night, the disciples remain gathered, reflecting upon the wisdom imparted by their master, the Buddha. In their hearts, a new light begins to shine, a light unburdened by the weight of attachment, illuminated by the freedom of release. Buddha sat once more, his posture embodying tranquility and wisdom. His presence alone conveyed lessons beyond words. Inspiring reflection, he said, "The path may seem difficult, but each step moves you closer to peace. And that peace enriches all beings. The flame of desire may burn brightly," Buddha added, "but even flames can be extinguished when met with understanding and resolve. The sun will set, and the moon will rise," Buddha said, "but the truth I share remains timeless and eternal." The disciples sat quietly, their hearts touched by the sacred moment shared beneath the Bodhi tree with their master, Buddha. In that silence, they felt the profound weight of wisdom and the lightness of letting go. Their journeys had begun. Another day, the Buddha walked into a lively village, his begging bowl in hand. Surrounded by disciples eager to learn, villagers observed him with curiosity and reverence, marveling at his simple demeanor and the wisdom that radiated from his presence. A farmer approached him, offering a handful of rice, his hands trembling slightly. "Master, why do you live this way?" The Buddha accepted the rice with gratitude, his voice calm as he replied, "I live with simplicity to teach its value. My bowl holds only what one need," the Buddha continued, "and in that need, I find abundance, not lack." The disciples exchanged glances, curious to understand the profound lesson hidden within such an unassuming act of daily life. One disciple asked, "Master, does renouncing possessions truly bring peace? How can such simplicity fulfill the desires of the heart?" The Buddha placed his bowl down carefully. "Peace does not arise from possessing," he said, "but from freeing oneself from the craving to possess. The world offers endless treasures," Buddha explained, "but the more you gather, the more your heart becomes entangled and restless." He gestured toward the bustling market nearby. Merchants called out, their stalls overflowing with goods and colorful wares enticing every passerby. "These objects are alluring," Buddha said, "but they cannot fill the emptiness within. That space belongs to stillness, not things." A young merchant overheard and approached. His face showed weariness beneath his wealth. "Master, I long for peace. What must I do?" The Buddha looked at the man kindly. "Begin by examining what you truly need," he said. "Release what is excess in your life." The merchant hesitated, his voice faltering. "But I have worked hard to achieve these riches. Letting go feels like abandoning my efforts." "Effort is not wasted when wisdom follows," Buddha reassured. "True effort seeks liberation, not accumulation. Peace cannot be bought or traded." He picked up his bowl again, holding it aloft. "This simple bowl sustains me, but it does not define me," he said. The merchant contemplated this, realizing his heart's yearning for stillness outweighed the weight of his material possessions and achievements. One disciple spoke quietly, his voice reflective. "Master, are possessions themselves to blame? Or is it the way we regard them?" "Objects hold no blame," Buddha replied. "They do not mourn, for each knows its time will come again." The Buddha's voice was steady, like the flow of an eternal river. It is not burdened, for it does not cling to what it carries. The disciples considered his words, their thoughts turning inward as they reflected on their own attachments and the weight they bore. A child approached shyly, offering a single flower to the Buddha. He accepted it with warmth, his eyes filled with gratitude. "This flower gives its beauty freely," Buddha said. "It does not demand admiration. nor does it hold onto its petals. Nature teaches us the art of letting go, Buddha continued. Seasons change, and yet the world remains in harmony. A disciple asked, Master, is simplicity achievable in a world so full of complexities and distractions? Can we truly live this way? Complexity arises from the mind, Buddha said. Simplify your thoughts, and the world will reflect that simplicity back to you. To live simply is not to reject life, Buddha added, but to embrace it more fully. Without the noise of excess, the villagers gathered closer, captivated by his presence and the clarity of his words. Their lives seemed to pause in his light. Each day offers a choice, Buddha said. Will you seek fulfillment in fleeting possessions or in the eternal stillness within? The sun began to set, painting the sky with hues of gold and crimson. The village quieted as dusk embraced the land. The Buddha turned to his disciples, his voice gentle yet firm. Remember, it is not the path that is difficult, he said. It is the reluctance to walk it that creates hardship, Buddha continued. Take each step with awareness, and simplicity will follow. Live in the present moment, free from the grip of fear. He looked at each disciple in turn, his gaze holding the depth of the cosmos. Another day, the Buddha entered a bustling town, accompanied by his disciples. Observing the vibrant yet chaotic rhythm of its streets, he noticed a wealthy merchant standing nearby, his face lined with worry despite his luxurious clothing and apparent success in trade. The merchant approached Buddha hesitantly, bowing before him. Master, I seek peace, yet wealth fills my life. I feel empty within. Buddha extended his open hand toward the merchant, his gesture calm and deliberate. True peace cannot dwell within a hand already full. The disciples watched closely, curious to understand Buddha's teachings about inner emptiness and the contrast between wealth and simplicity. The merchant frowned, his mind conflicted. Master, I have provided for my family and served my community. Why do I still feel hollow? Buddha placed his other hand over his chest. The heart that yearns for peace must release the chains of pride, ego, and possessions. Possessions themselves do not harm, Buddha said, but the mind that clings to them imprisons itself, turning freedom into captivity. He gestured to a nearby tree, its branches heavy with fruit. This tree offers its fruit freely. It does not grasp or hoard. The merchant observed the tree, thoughtful. Master, I fear that letting go may bring loss. What if I have nothing left to give? Buddha picked up a fallen leaf, holding it gently between his fingers. Even this leaf has purpose when given freely, he said. The act of giving transforms, enriching both giver and receiver, Buddha explained. Peace grows when expectations dissolve and generosity flows. The disciples reflected on his words, contemplating their own attachments and the ways they measured their value in material terms. A child approached the Buddha, carrying an empty bowl in her small hands. She looked up at him with innocent curiosity. Buddha knelt before the child, smiling warmly. An empty bowl is a symbol of possibility, he said. It is ready to receive. It does not demand nor grasp, Buddha continued. In its emptiness lies its purpose. Just as simplicity creates space for peace. The child listened intently, holding her bowl closer, sensing the wisdom hidden within such simple actions and symbolic gestures. One disciple spoke, his voice steady yet inquisitive. Master, does emptiness mean lacking? Does renunciation lead to deprivation or to fulfillment? Emptiness is not lacking, Buddha replied. It is the openness to all things without clinging, allowing harmony to flow naturally. The stream moves forward, Master. It does not stop or fight against what lies in its path. Buddha turned his attention to the bustling market nearby, observing the exchanges between merchants, buyers, and those simply passing through. This market is full of activity, Buddha said. But not all activity leads to fulfillment. Observe what drives each action carefully. He gestured to a vendor selling food. This vendor provides for others. Yet if pride governs his heart, peace eludes him. Intentions shape actions, Buddha said. Actions born of selflessness nurture peace, while those rooted in selfishness cultivate suffering instead. The merchant spoke again, his voice filled with humility. Master, I long to live simply, but I fear the uncertainty of letting go. Uncertainty is natural, Buddha reassured. It is the doorway to growth. Step through it, and you will find freedom awaiting. A gentle breeze swept through the streets, carrying with it the murmurs of the town, blending sounds of labor and laughter. Buddha raised his hand toward the breeze. This wind moves freely, unbound by walls or barriers. It flows because it does not resist. Flow with life, Buddha said. Do not resist its currents with fear or attachment. Open your heart, and peace will follow. The disciples sat in silence, their minds turning inward, their hearts resonating with the simplicity and depth of the Buddha's teaching. The farmer bowed deeply, his voice filled with gratitude. Master, I seek your guidance to begin anew. Buddha nodded, his voice steady. Begin with humility, he said. Recognize what you no longer need, and release it with gratitude. Let gratitude replace fear, Buddha continued. Each act of letting go is a step toward peace, and peace nurtures endless abundance. The merchant bowed deeply, feeling both humbled and inspired by the wisdom that Buddha shared with grace and simplicity. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the streets quieted, casting a golden glow upon the town and the people within it. It requires nothing to hold and nothing to fear. The sun began its descent, painting the sky with hues of gold and crimson. As the Buddha and his disciples resumed their journey, the teachings of the day lingered in their hearts, like a flame that burned brightly, illuminating the path ahead. And so, the message of liberation continued to echo through the hills and valleys, touching all who heard it, guiding them toward a life unbound by illusion, a life awakened to the infinite freedom of being. Remember, he said, the river does not separate soft eyes from open hands. It carries both within its flow. His gaze met mine, filled with unwavering faith, as though he already saw the transformation within me. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.